fix it in post.
Yeah, no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. No one can even tell because it's so tiny. Hello and welcome to another episode of Structured Gibberish. Are you trying to look like your video froze? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I was doing that.
I get you can just barely see the. You've distracted me. I was going to do the opening.
So go do the opening. Do it.
I'm
We all want to hear.
I'm your host Brian. This is Pat, and I think my light is a little bright. Does that look a little bit better? Okay, it's fine.
That's not how the open.
I didn't used to have to deal with the lights
That's true.
when we
That's
were doing
true.
the other things. The non-video. What do you call non-video? Audio. Not show video.
Nacho video.
I know. Well,
I
anyway,
used to record this podcast naked on a beanbag chair eating Cheetos.
yes. To this day, I wish I never knew that. Hmm.
Now you do.
Hmm.
Now you.
So,
Anyway, you were doing an opening.
I did it. I just did it in pieces. It was, I say, hello and welcome. That's the first part. That's the greeting, right?
I
Yeah,
remember the part. Yeah.
close on my microphone. You say hello and welcome. That covers all of your bases. Um, and then to another episode, indicating that this is not the first episode, right? So you got a backlog you got to go to. You gotta catch up, figure out what the plot is, and then of structured gibberish, which is where we lose most of the people who are watching because then they realize what they're watching.
Gotcha.
So
That makes sense.
and then I say
So
I'm we're your hosts. I'm Brian. This is Pat. With this one, yes, there we go. Whichever way.
yeah, it's confusing, isn't it?
Yeah, I forget which side of you because I've got my laptop over here where I can see the stream in OBS, and then but it's actually up there because it's
Gotcha.
reversed, you know. So, anywho, you want to start today with our abundant topics? You want to start by talking about the Ms. Marvel trailer?
Sure.
I've got
I would enjoy that.
I've got the browser going here. I hope this is still set up. Oh, I gotta fix that. Um,
Worked fine.
no, it didn't have the look, when you do the thing, when you switch back and forth, it's like it changes our like the scene swaps out too soon.
Oh, it swaps out too quick. I see it
Yeah.
now.
I
Yeah,
keep
but
forgetting
nobody knew that until you pointed it
it
out.
only happens when I'm actually broadcasting. If I do this when I'm not broadcasting, it doesn't.
I know.
I don't know
I
what
know.
the deal is.
All right.
I got to debug. Maybe there's an update. Anyway, um,
Ms. Marvel.
yeah, we got Ms. Marvel here. We got a trailer for this show. Now, if you don't know, that Ms. Marvel is a comic that came out several years ago at this point. That was kind of like I think around the time when um, the traditional Ms. Marvel, Carol Danvers, got promoted to Captain Marvel in the comics.
Right. Pretty much.
Yeah, then shortly thereafter, they created a new character, Ms. Marvel, who is Kamala Khan, and I don't know much about her to be perfectly honest, because that was around the time that I stopped reading Marvel comics.
Yeah, I know. I know little bits. Pardon me. I know that. I just cover this real fast before we watch the trailer. So sorry. Um, her powers are actually in the comic books. They're much more of the nature of like Mr. Fantastic or Plastic Man.
Hmm.
She uses them for, I think they call them embiggening,
Hmm. Yes.
where she just makes her fists really, really huge and fights people. But on occasion, and I read an article about this because there are a lot of fans of hers that are kind of miffed that they changed her core power set for this. Um, that uh part of her deal was like when she got her powers, she transformed into Carol Danvers because that was like all she could think about was being like her, and all of a sudden she was her. And I think we'll see in a second, but there's some things that hint at a similar road but not the same. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things.
So like before, I don't have the audio hooked up, and it would probably be
Right.
weird. And also, I don't even know if we have the rights to show this live on the stream. So, um, but I do like how this aesthetic that they have in the
I
books
I'm
that they
I'm
have in the very
wondering if
beginning here.
it's I'm wondering if it's going to be Like, is this just the trailer probably, or are we gonna get bouts of this during the show? I really like it, but
I do
I
too.
don't see it playing the whole show this way. You know?
Yeah, probably not. Maybe like maybe like the intro, if it even carries into the show, it'll probably be just
Right.
like the opening scene of each episode or the first episode or something like that. But either way, it's a cool aesthetic. I like the song. I think
Mhm.
it fits pretty well with the. I assume it's this. I didn't know what the name of the song was until just now.
I believe it's Blinding Lights by The Weekend.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the
The
weekend.
Weekend.
But yeah, no, it's. I'd heard the song before. I didn't know what it was called. But yeah, this is very like Scott Pilgrimy to me,
Yes. Yes.
which is fine as long as I don't. I mean,
I think it's good. I really love Scott Pilgrim. So
yeah, and it like you said, it's pretty clear that this is not going to be going on throughout the entire show. Which
right.
I think then would
I
kind of make it a kind of a Scott Pilgrim ripoff. But in moderation
I
like this, I think it's good.
exactly. I would really enjoy this as because it seems like maybe we're going to see a little bit of her fantasy worlds and things like that.
Hmm.
I would love if this is kind of a precursor.
You get,
You get
I mean,
shut up.
you get. Um, so yeah, so there's obviously going to be a lot of high school teenager traditional things going on. I
Hmm.
think the most um un trying to find like oh that yeah there's some that's clearly her imagination there, I'm assuming,
Right.
but like there's a scene near the end where yeah, it's like right after she gets her powers. But there's like a scene near the end here where they're showing like a Carol Danvers statue, a Captain Marvel statue or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like all in glitter.
Yeah, and I just thought like that's the most unrealistic thing about this is that there's like any town that would actually care about Carol Danvers because she was here for like 10 minutes on Earth.
I don't know, bro. She fought Thanos like hand to hand and almost got him. I really don't see that as not impressive.
Oh
I
no,
think
I'm
that
not.
that's probably something that people would because I don't think that that was, and I'll be proven right or wrong when the show comes out.
Mhm.
I'm guessing that was like an art installation.
Yeah, that could be.
That wasn't like the city was like, we must erect a statue to Captain Marvel. I just think she has fans.
I think this right here is that's the obviously the nod to her stretchy powers. So like they're not gone from the.
Well, right, because it does appear that she will still have stretchy big fists,
Mhm.
but they're now energy projections instead of literally her hands becoming bigger.
I don't, well, actually, I'm not sure about that. I mean, it's clear that when she uses her power, it turns into energy, but it's also possible that her body turns into energy while it stretches. I mean, I guess that's like maybe
We'll see.
six of one,
We'll
half
see.
dozen of the other, but
Right. But I mean, like, it looks like she uses energy projection for the most part. Like, you see her closing the door,
yeah, oh
and
yeah, no,
she's
she
making
definitely
like a
can.
huge
Yeah,
shield and things. Yeah, look at that. Like, that's just boom energy.
yeah,
Um,
it's crystal power.
and so in the in the comic books, I believe her hands would literally have been the shields.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? But I haven't read any comic books with her. This is my actual deep dark secret. I don't read that many comic books. I like collecting toys and trading cards and hearing about fanciful things, rather than actually doing the legwork and reading about them.
So, do you think this artifact? What do you think this is? And where she's in a barn?
I mean I'm gonna guess that I mean I'll tell you what it feels like to me. It feels very Eternal Z,
It does.
and I have not watched that movie, by the way. But this definitely feels like perhaps it is an Eternals related artifact. And she said, like, he says, how does that feel? It's like cosmic, like that's you know. But it's also obviously like it looks very Indian. It looks very like it would appear that there's perhaps a Bollywood type dance scene going on at some point.
Hmm.
Um, Now the part that you're kind of scrolling to right here, I'm intrigued by this uh because I was watching Now I know nothing about this yet. I was thinking about researching it and then I did not. I saw a TikTok. You know how relatable those are and reliable.
Hmm.
Um, but it was all about how the theory, and you probably know some more about this because you're a smart fella. That we are living in space time, and that perhaps she is slipping into time space.
Okay.
It's and like the theory is that space and time are two things that are just happening together, and the way we experience it is as space time. But that this like flip flop into like an upside down kind of a world like Stranger Things and stuff like that is that there's like this other like flip flop happening at the same time. That again, like I said, it would be, I guess it would be time space rather than space time. I don't know the difference because again, I didn't even start to look it up yet,
Well, that
but it seemed very interesting.
that sounds ridiculous on its face, but well, it's Marvel, it's superheroes and stuff, so I guess they could make up whatever nonsense they want, as long as it makes sense within the show. I mean, I just
Make up whatever nonsense they want as long as it makes sense.
yeah, exactly.
You make
That's
sense.
I'm just trying to get into the spirit of the nonsense. Yeah, if I just think like if you were going to make like a dimension that's like opposite of our dimension, like we have like the mirror universe from Star Trek, and there's like Transformers has shattered glass, and there's all these
I don't
cool ones.
know.
But
I don't know if it's. I don't know that they. I don't like. I don't think the theory is necessarily that. Again, if this TikTok person was to be believed, it's like an actual scientific theory that would exist where it's not like, oh, now you're evil. Like it's just a different way that things are happening within the same.
I don't know. I'm just my only point was going to be that time space is a lazy name for a thing.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah,
So, anyhow,
I'm drinking from the big jug today. My Bubba,
that's good.
look at that.
I have
That's my Bubba.
this to match. Look, this almost
Not a
matches
sponsor.
our background
Hmm.
perfectly. Look at that. Yeah, this random cup that was just in my house.
Splashed on my
So
face. We're
it's like
professionals.
we are professionals.
No, we're not. We don't get paid. Anyway,
Oh,
I left it up on
I have a
a
I have a
blurry
job.
picture here. Oh, the Circle Q is gone. They blew up the Circle Q.
Not the Circle Q.
And I think um, I like the aesthetic, regardless of whether or not it's supposed to be her real
Hmm.
powers or whatever. I like the aesthetic of the energy crystal powers. It's not like revolutionary in a concept,
No,
but it's different than every other like energy shield kind of power.
right. It could have easily ended up being like the highly overused Doctor Strange type thing going on.
Yeah.
But this is more mirror dimension, I guess.
I wonder
But
if she's like pulling matter from the time space or something like that. If this is like,
right.
she gets a little bit of control of that dimension or something, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to learn more. I'll tell you that.
Yep, me too.
So
I'm excited. June.
June. Now,
June.
you know what else I learned recently is that Thor: Love and Thunder
Hmm.
has crossed over into a weird space in that um, currently I think it's one of, if not the shortest amount of time where there has been nothing. We've got no trailers. We've got a couple of set leak pictures. Like there's nothing about this movie. We don't know what's happening in this movie at all.
Right.
And I forget the release date is very soon. Like like 100 and some days
Thor,
soon.
Love, and Thunder. Maybe they haven't started making the movie yet.
Maybe
Maybe that's the problem.
Taika Waititi is just like, "Oh shit,
July 8th.
gotta get this done."
I mean, it's gonna come out like a month after this, so
Right.
June 8th, literally a month
But
later. But
that seems
they don't
like a
do
short amount of time.
yeah, they don't
And if
they
there was
don't
there was
do
a
a
chart,
huge like campaign for the TV shows. You get like one or two trailers like just before it comes out. You know, like
Right.
movies should be the movies should have trailers by now.
And Spider-Man was very notorious. The last Spider-Man is obviously they had a lot of secrets that they had to keep. And so they didn't do the PR train until very late in the game, and it's already later in the game
Yeah.
for Thor.
Yeah.
Now the I think part of it is probably because there's an awful lot of goodwill uh, that Ragnarok bought Thor.
Hmm.
I mean I'm pretty much going into this movie already loving it.
And thundering, loving and thundering.
Exactly.
Ah, got the water on the glass.
It's gonna have the Guardians in it, at least some of them, and it's gonna have. I don't even understand how some of this is gonna go. Like we know little bits. Like we know that what's his name? I keep wanting to call him
Sure.
Patrick Bateman, but Christian Bale, that's his name.
Hmm. Patrick.
We know he's a god killer,
Hmm.
and we also know that Russell Crowe is playing Zeus, which messes with me because that's not the right it's not the right gods.
Yeah.
But again, I'm intrigued by that too because it all makes sense. You know, I dig that notion that maybe there were just other aliens that were like, yeah, we're gods too.
There are so many aliens in the Marvel universe. There are so many aliens just living on Earth, just like randomly,
Yeah,
which,
right.
you know, I mean, that's comic books, but I
Sure.
think it's amusing.
Well, you know what, and this is something that makes total sense, but I just read about it the other day. Do you know why mutants were created in the Marvel universe?
Oh, I've heard a couple of different reasons for this. All the way, like the most cynical is just so that they wouldn't have to come up with a new origin story every single time.
There's an interview with Stan Lee where he just said, "I got real tired of you can't have gamma bombs going off every day,
Yeah.
so they were just born with it.
Mhm.
Maybe it's Maybelline."
Yeah. I like the Ultimate comics. The
I
reason
hate the Ultimate Comics.
I thought most of the Ultimate comics were pretty good. Some of them were not great. But like the Spider-Man was really good. Really, really
I've heard
good.
very good things about the Spider-Man.
um
That is all I will give you.
the reason every superhero exists in the Ultimate Universe is because they created Captain America, and then everybody was trying to recreate the super soldier serum, and
Right.
every time it went wrong we got another superhero or another supervillain. And
I don't hate that. Like I think didn't they kind of adopt that a little in the movies? Like there's been like a wink and a nod to like, oh yeah, they kept trying to make that
yeah.
superhero serum, and
Well,
so this happened, and
yeah, I mean, like Abomination is that in the
right.
movies, you know, the Red Skull is that.
Mhm.
The all of the Hydra, you know, it seems like with Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver,
Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson. No, wait, that's the other one. Um, yeah, that's it's just it's not everybody, you know. It's going to be
Right.
interesting how they do bring the now that it's definitely 100% confirmed that Patrick Stewart is in Doctor Strange because you saw his face in
Right.
the last trailer, not just heard his voice. That could have been anybody's voice. Did you see that
I
trailer?
didn't see his face. No.
I
When
thought
did that trailer come out?
I thought there was a new
Maybe there was, and I just missed it. I
Doctor
didn't know.
Strange official trailer.
I mean, Patrick Stewart came out and was on an interview and was like, "Oh yes, I did that."
He he said in the interview that he thought it was amazing that people were oh, you know what? If it was this one, these are fake. If this was the one I watched, then these are fake. This might have been the one that I watched. Let's see. Oh, that's from Days of Future Past. That's yeah.
Right.
This Twitter or YouTube account is always fake trailers. Maybe this didn't happen and I just fell for it. But
I mean, again, to be, like we said, Patrick Stewart has confirmed
yeah, no,
uh, through interviews that he was in fact in the
it
movie.
was funny because he said that he was shocked that people were able to determine it was him, and all you heard was like the one line and a little bit of his shoulder, and it was like
Right.
your voice is pretty distinctive, sir.
Well, and he said at that same interview, he said something like, "I didn't even recognize my own voice." It's like you,
Well, I mean,
it's your
that's
voice.
just your
It's your
girls.
voice, buddy. Yeah, he's getting up there. He's getting up there. Speaking of mild segue, speaking of people who are getting up there, did you hear the news today that Christopher Lloyd is joining the Mandalorian season 3?
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell he's going to do, but I hope he's a crazy inventor guy. He'll probably be a Mandalorian, and you won't see him or anything, and he'll just record some lines, and that'll be it, because that's usually how these things go. But
I hope,
I
I
thought
hope
that
he's
was
a
kind of
Jedi or
cool.
a Sith.
Ooh, that'd be
That's what I
fun.
want.
I also heard, I don't want to steer this too far off course. Heard today, did you know how they kept Luke Skywalker a secret for the end of, spoiler alert, uh, season 2?
They didn't tell anyone.
That, and they went to elaborate lengths to make people think that it was, I'm going to screw his name up, Plo
Plo
Koon.
Koon.
Yeah, like to the effect to the where they had a mask made, and so when the stunt double was doing things, they had him wearing the mask, and there was
Okay.
CGI renders, and the art was made. You know, like how they had the art storyboards. They had storyboards made with him and not Luke, and all this stuff. And apparently, he is one of Dave Filoni's favorite, if not most favorite
Hmm.
Jedi's. And so they were like, well, so in all the scripts, it was him.
Hmm.
And so we figured if it leaked, all the fans would be like, "Yeah, Dave likes him. Of course, it's him."
Yeah, yeah. We saw him die on screen. So,
Nope, he's fine.
okay.
No, he is probably still dead.
That's
Probably
I
still dead.
mean, I think the fans would have probably been like, "Oh, that's weird because he's dead." What is in my eye? I'm just having so many troubles today. Always do your hygiene live on camera. That's what I say.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah. I like how we always get back into Star Wars, no matter what we're talking about. Did,
No matter what,
did you
and I love how much you love Star
did you
Wars.
watch any of the special features from the No Way Home digital release? Some of them have been on YouTube.
No,
They were talking about how they
no.
kept secrets for that movie, and they apparently at one point, I think it was Toby Maguire got injured and had to go to a hospital, and the doctor took a selfie with him, and like the crew had to come and find the doctor and make sure he didn't post the selfie on the internet.
Don't you
They
do
would
it, man.
they would bring the returning actors in with like Sith cloaks on when they
Uh
were
huh.
walking them around and everything, and tell them like you can't go, don't go to restaurants, don't go shopping when you're in town for this. You just stay in your hotel. We won't do anything. So,
Don't do it, man. Don't do it. I mean, they did a hell of a job. I like we knew, we saw the couple of leaked pictures and whatever, but there was still a part of me when I was sitting in that movie theater that I was like, maybe it all was photoshopped.
mhm.
It could have been. I don't know when they could pop. Oh my God, they're there. So it turned out to be quite the delight. Quite the
Yeah,
delight. So anyway, you want to know another fun
sure.
fact? I often try to scroll your screen there. And I'm like, why isn't it? Oh, that's right. It's not my screen.
That's fine. I still move the mouse around and gesture at things, even though you can't see it, the mouse. You can only see like what the mouse is doing. So,
Right. It's like a phantom
yes, the
mouse.
Phantom Mouse. That mouse. Well, anyway, as long as I got this up here, we could segue into my second topic. I wanted to get your opinion on these
Yeah.
because I know you're not like a Japanese tokusatsu fan, um, but there's a
I feel like I am though because I know you.
yes, there's a new Kamen Rider movie coming out fairly soon. It's a reimagining of one of the '90s, or actually, I guess late '80s series, Kamen Rider Black.
Okay.
Kamen Rider Black had a sequel, one of the few Kamen Rider series to actually have a sequel series called Kamen Rider Black RX, which you would know as Saban's Masked Rider of the.
Ah.
So this is the reimagining of the character. Actually, let me bring up just so you can see what he looked like on the show. Do-do-do-do-do. There we go. So this is
Okay.
Black
Yep.
RX. That's what he looked like before. So this is a figure arts, but this is Kamen Rider Black. So in the he is powered by the sun. He's considered the child of the sun or something like that, and he dies in the beginning and gets reborn with the power of the sun. And so um yeah, so this is Kamen Rider Black, and this is what we're reimagining. And so
Okay.
and then there's
But wait, what about the common rider that was just on in the green suit?
hold on. There's also Shadow Moon is his opposite. So he's powered by the sun.
Oh,
Shadow Moon is the evil version of him. The evil.
he's powered by
I
the.
haven't seen this series yet. It's on my bucket list, but as I understand it, like they're both supposed to be like the guardians of the Century Guardians, but they are fighting instead. Something like that.
Fair.
What was your ask? You were asking about.
My question is what about the one that looks familiar to me? That one.
So
Does that is this one turning into the other one, or is this one just you just wanted me to show you just want to show
I
me that
wanted to
one?
show you this one because just so you would have the frame of reference. So
Okay.
this is
So that one's not in this new
not in the
show.
new show, no.
Oh, that makes me sad
But
because I like that one.
they often do sequels to these movies. So you never know. So anyway, this is what he looked like originally. Here's like an actual shot. Maybe not. That's a thing. There's like a shot. Anyway, that's what he looked like originally. So here he is in the new
Oh.
one. So that's common. That's black. So the movie is called Kamen Rider Black Sun, and so this is Black Sun, and this is Shadow Moon, and this is their motorcycles
Hmm.
because they're riders.
I makes sense. That looks really cool, but I don't know if I like it.
I'm, I'm kind of with you because I'm not a huge fan of the organic look, the
Right.
organic
It
armor look,
this looks
but
like this looks like a horror version. Like if Clive Barker's
oh, actually,
Kamen Rider,
um,
you know?
I know exactly what you're talking about because there was a Kamen Rider horror movie in the 90s,
Oh, okay.
Shin Kamen Rider Pro, and this is what he looked like.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That if do they have a toy of
Oh,
this?
of course they do.
Because I would let this hang out with my creatures from the Black Lagoon. This is fantastic.
Hmm.
I want more of
Yeah,
this.
this was a real visceral movie, but like his this is his like naked body, and he literally his
Right.
bones crack and like all the spikes pop out and everything.
I love it. I love it. I am here for
Yeah.
this. Oh, there I go trying to click on
Hmm.
things.
I mean, I'm also really excited for this movie, which is a reimagining of the original Kamen Rider, which looks to
Oh,
be really amazing too. Starring
I look.
the guy playing him is the son of the guy who originally played him.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
looks really cool.
I would have guessed Nicolas Cage, but
Mm,
that's
yeah, no, he does look like Spider-Man Noir a little bit.
yes, that was my
Yeah.
reference.
So
You've stepped on my
yes.
reference.
Well, anyway, yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
probably going to be a
like
pretty good movie. Um,
you know what else this reminds me of is the Xenomorph.
oh yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So like if an alien uh impregnated a common rider, these things are what came out of
Hmm.
it. Maybe that's the beginning of the story. Have they ever done a Mothman?
What do you mean by that?
Mothman.
Mothman.
Yeah, like Kamen Rider looks kind of like the cryptozoological creature Mothman with the big red eyes and moth-like
Um,
features.
I'm gonna yeah, I'm gonna try and look for
Inuyasha.
I'm gonna butcher the spelling of this. You completely missed my because I don't remember how you spell this, but there we go. What about that guy? And oh, it was an I. There we go.
That's kind of close.
Hmm.
Kind of close.
Yeah, this is this is
Yeah.
what the character looked like in his debut,
Nice. I like that one better.
and this is what he looked like when they reimagined him like a decade ago.
reimagined him as mostly naked.
Yep.
That makes me slightly
I mean,
uncomfortable.
I
That's
think they're all
cool.
supposed to be naked.
That's cooler. That, honest to goodness, how much is that toy? I want it.
Mm,
I want it if it's
it's
$5.
probably going to be more than $5.
All right, 10. You drive a hard bargain.
You're not buying it from me.
That's what you think. I just bought it.
Oh,
Now,
look at this guy.
pay up.
I don't know who this guy is, but do I have to censor this? I don't even know.
I don't know. Blur that out in
Yeah,
post.
let's see. Yeah, a classic shot of all the heroes.
All
Classic.
the weirdos. Classic.
Anyway, let's look at Plokin.
Another classic shot.
You want to talk about let me get my notes. What do you want to talk about?
All sorts of stuff, buddy.
Final faction again? Update?
Yes. Final faction update. So I happened to go to the Dollar Tree today, and they came.
Okay,
I've got
hold on. We'll cut that
several
part. Take
new
two.
things. Uh, cut that from the live stream. I've got several new characters now. Some of which, like, I even kept them in the box for you guys. It's a real unboxing. But I got a new Chiro, because if you recall from last week, mine had two right legs. This one definitely has two correct legs. Um, and then I don't know. I couldn't find this guy last time I pulled them all out. Sergeant Steele. He's really cool. He looks like Falcon. I don't know. There's a big thing. Did you notice that Stratos? I don't know if you guys have watched the new like kids He-Man show, but Stratos now looks exactly like Falcon too. So interesting take, Anthony Mackie. You did it. You made up a whole genre of
Yeah, they've
superheroes now.
we've
So
solidified
he's
our designs of bird people.
yes, absolutely. So those guys were all past. This is another past one that I didn't show on the show last time, but this I thought he was new, um, but he wasn't,
Hmm.
and they're $1.25. So whatever.
You can't go wrong with that.
Pull him out of the box because I'm not a box collector. I don't do that. I don't play that.
Boxes just make it easier to store things in a logical space. That's all. I like a challenge.
Exactly.
How do you cram them all into a bin?
Look at that. That is a you can't really see it because the camera doesn't.
It's got like
There it
a
goes. He's a very like organic-y, swamp thingy,
he's
buggy
definitely got a bit of a maw.
thing. Just a bit. But I really want. I'm glad that I ended up with this because I want to buy more of these just to paint. Like even if you just like, there's so much detail in these sculpts. All you really got to do is put a nice base and then dry brush over it, and then you're gonna get a really nice looking figure out of it.
Hmm.
So that's him. Here's the new ones. Here's the new ones. I'm very excited for these. So first up we have Amari, I believe is how we would say her
Yeah, okay.
name. Um,
This has like
and
cartoon
she,
details on the back.
I know,
Are there?
she is there.
What are the
You know,
deets?
watch the cartoon. Scan and watch the Final Faction cartoon. So
Hmm.
go ahead and
All right, everybody, get your phones out.
scan that
Oh, hang on, hold
code.
on, wait, hold it up again. I'm gonna see if that works. I'm gonna try and scan the YouTube. Hold on. Uh, oh my God.
If you guys get clicks out of this Final Faction, I
Yeah.
want a
There
nickel.
we go. I think my phone's cell reception like ran through my microphone that whole time there. I don't know if that will come through or not, but yeah, it worked. I'm on the YouTube page. I can watch the
Nice.
show.
Now you can watch the show. I'm gonna be honest with you, the show's not awesome,
Yep.
but it's not terrible either. There are 1,000% worse things on the internet. I know my daughter loves each and every one of them. Um, So here's Amari. She is really this sculpt's amazing. Very cool. Um so
No.
she
Okay.
has, yeah, she has a metallic gold bomber jacket. Sorry, I'm not used to these move the opposite way you want to see things screens. Um with cool gold
Hmm.
gauntlets, badass mohawk,
Hmm.
a la Storm in the late '80s, and then her suit, like her shirt, is very sci-fi. It's I can't tell. There's a lot of texture
There's
going
a
on
lot of
in there.
molded detail.
Um, and she's just really cool. And then her accessory is Lucille.
The club has a name.
Well, Negan from
Oh, okay. I haven't watched.
I
I
believe
don't. I don't. I'm
his
not
his
a
baseball
zombie
bat
person.
is. I know. You're good on you. Good on you. Unfortunately, I did hear about that. It's her hand is not molded very well when it comes to holding this, but I got if you hold it at the very end,
Okay.
she can hold it pretty well. She's also very tall.
Like compared to
Here
the others.
is the their feet are level.
Mm.
So she is very tall. So that I don't know if that's in character or not. Like maybe she's somewhat like an Amazonian kind of a character. I
You're
don't
wondering,
know.
is that in character or did they have extra plastic budget?
I don't know. They molded her tush
Oh,
to
oh,
to be
oh no.
more vivacious than the other
Hmm.
tushes, which I think is interesting. Um, but she's a very cool character. I'm very excited by the notion, and not just the tush. But again, like how cool is it? That the Dollar Tree has a toy line that they're selling for $1.25, but it's already like more diverse than most toy lines ever get to
Hmm.
be. You know, we've got at least two female characters, at least two or three characters of color, you know, um, a robot dog.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much more diverse you can get. A guy who's half alien. Look at his other head.
The back half.
So, so cool. All right, and we got one more new one. This is underwater specialist Riptide.
Ooh.
Looking looking pretty cool. Um, I got it. I there's a lot of fun in these toys.
Hmm.
This is the time. This is a time in my life when I can use simple pleasures like this. So thank you to whomever made this happen at the Dollar Tree. Um, Now this one is even cooler because I don't know if you can. Again, I don't know if you'll be able to see. Oh, his tush is a little. You know, he's got
I'm glad that this is the thing that you're showing off for all of the figures.
of all the figures. We're gonna do deep dives into the tush. That's right, folks. I said it. We're gonna do deep dives into the tush. Anyway, he is a underwater deep sea diver character, and so he's got a scuba thing that affixes to his stomach, and then he's got that cool scuba mask on now. And then if you can see, you see those kind of like green dots. He's got them. They're by the hands, and then they're in the middle of like the scuba
Yeah.
piece. Apparently, I don't have any handy, but if you dip them in warm water, they will change color to a lighter green. I don't know. The package
And,
shows
and
um
imperceptibly lighter green.
It shows a lighter green.
Maybe it glows in the dark or something, or
That would probably have been a smarter move
lights
on their
up.
part, to be honest. But it does say three. Like there's a big ad for it right there. Three color changing pieces, and and they just these tiny little lumps of
Yeah, they're not
plastic.
wrong.
They're not wrong. He's got this is pretty cool because do you remember Cartoon Man?
Hmm.
So for
Your
those of
original
you,
character.
yeah, my very original character, 100%. Um, it was original. The notion of the character was that he was a man in the real world, but had all the powers of a cartoon character. Yes, it's been done before. But anyway, the point is Cartoon Man had rocket powered roller skates on, and he could also use them to fly. So he had rockets on his legs that would provide lift, and then rockets on his boots that he could provide directional. Scuba guy here has cool rocket-like attachments to his
Hmm.
legs, presumably for swimming fast.
Probably.
But
Or diving. Like, what if he's
he
just
also
like
comes
launching
with
stuff
these
in the air?
pretty sweet harpoon gun arm things that actually like the little thing dislodges. And there's a you can't see it, I'm sure. There's a tiny little hole in there that you could attach string
Yeah.
to, and there's a tiny little thing over here you could attach string to, so you won't lose them, and you could be like, patooey,
So it's
patooey.
like an actual like harpoon rope thing.
Absolutely. And then they affix right here on his forearms, so that even keeps his hands free. He can be shooting harpoons. This is a damn cool figure. I'll tell you what this guy reminds me of: a sentry. Remember those guys?
Century. Do you mean a
Or
centurion?
am I making that up?
Yeah,
Yes,
I
that's it.
was actually
That's
thinking the exact same thing. He looks like a centurion.
because he's just got all these ports on him, and you can affix all these different things, you know. And then again, see, I bought another one of these packs. So it's such a smart, such a smart idea, just to make accessory packs. There's a whole bunch of new ones coming out too. I'm so excited. There's three new good guy ones, three new bad guy ones, and then there's like a turret, and that it has like firing missiles and everything. This is such a freaking cool toy line. Um, let's see, that one's too big. That'll do. See, this
That
is
will
just a
do.
nondescript little piece
What is that?
that I'm totally gonna snap on his back as some kind of a cool jetpack backpack thing. Oh, maybe I won't. Maybe it was.
Hmm.
No, it's not.
Maybe I will. Maybe I
I,
won't.
maybe I will. Maybe I won't. You know, it's
Tune
fine.
in
It's
next time
fine.
to find out.
His back holes seem to be just a little big for these. I wish that fit, but it doesn't. What about one of these? Nope. Well, he clearly wasn't made. He has a back port, but it wasn't made for any of this stuff. So he's pretty cool anyway. I just feel like his back needs something.
Hmm.
Maybe paint.
Yeah.
That's so I'm really excited. I bought a couple extra of these just to throw some paint on, see what they come out as. Again, you really can't go wrong for a buck and a quarter. I have spent more money on single trading cards that are meaningless to anyone but me than I have the entirety of all the money I've spent on these toys. They stand really well too. Again, you can't really show you
Hold the
that
whole
because
table up now.
actually, here, hold on.
Get a book. Balance it on your head.
Take a look. It's in a book.
Ooh. Oh. Look at that.
So I mean, like again, I've bought a lot of name brand figures that have
I mean,
much less standing abilities than
I have to
that.
basically pick up the entire shelf behind me every week. So I, I'm legitimately impressed.
And they do come with, foot pegs, so you if you had stands for them, you could indeed stand them up. I'm definitely going to get some like kite string and attach these harpoons. Um, just such cool. I can't get over how neat this toy line is for a buck and a quarter. I can't. I can't and I won't. This one is just one of the ones that I should have had out already. Is this Sergeant Steel? Yeah, look at that backpack. That's a freaking cool winged
That is
backpack.
cool. Is that guns up? Is that what that is?
Yeah. So I'm guessing he would be able to fly in. Or does it? Or is it? Do you think that's backwards?
You know, when you have it like that, he looks like Killer Moth or something.
He does.
Try it the other way.
Yeah. See,
Here.
that looks a little bit better.
Maybe those things are supposed to be like jets or something on the bottom.
Right. If they're in this position, I mean, I guess unless he's just like pow 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 pow.
Yeah,
Look at my tickets. Pow 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 pow.
that's that looks. Okay, that looks better. I don't know if that's the way it's supposed to go, but that does look better that way.
Right. I think that on him like that, that's probably just how he's supposed to be. But
Maybe those are like so if like
anyway,
someone's chasing him, he's got the guns that could shoot behind him. They'll
right.
never see it coming.
Absolutely. Oil slicks
Got him right where you want it,
in
in
the
the air.
air.
Yeah, fuel air bomb. Yeah,
Absolutely. So yeah, once again, I cannot recommend these toys more highly. Go to your Dollar Tree and enjoy yourself. Spend $10 and just go sit in a sandbox somewhere and just have fun.
yeah. Yeah, everybody could use a little bit of more, a little bit more fun these days.
Abso-freaking-lutely. I really like this guy, this scuba guy. Man.
Yeah, I googled a picture of the Centurions while you were talking, just to make sure I wasn't crazy. But yeah, like the water guy, that's I mean the water one was green, but still, it's like the exact same thing. It looks like he's got all the equipment like clipped onto his body and everything.
Wasn't that their shtick? Like they just had like ports everywhere. I never had
Yeah,
one,
here, I'll
but
bring it
you
up.
did. I distinctly remember you having one.
Oh yeah, I got one at a garage sale. I had the
Brian and I were children together.
yeah. Let me shoot back over to here.
I love that that graphic exists. Yeah, there they are. There they are. I want to say they just did a re-release on them, like some small company
Yeah,
made.
yeah. I saw the like the original press release of it, and I never went back to
Yeah, I don't know if they ever made it out. I don't know if I never saw them like in person or anything.
yeah, this show was great because it was basically like they had their suits with all the holes in them, and the toys were exactly the same. It was just a bunch of holes. You just clip whatever you want all over them. But basically, they'd be like out doing their thing, and then I don't know if they'll have a. There's the underwater guy with his thing. So they had like different levels of. Here we go.
Yeah, look at his legs. He's got the rocket
This
legs.
she was in like their satellite, and whenever they needed some gear, she'd be like, "Okay, I'm beaming down," and then the name of the set. So like the ground guy had like he would normally just be like a walking tank, but then he could also have like a motorcycle or a whatever the hell that is. And like this guy had a normal flight suit, and he also had like a spaceship kind of vert. Here we go. Here's the actual toys. Oh, these were so cool. They were huge
Yeah,
too. They were like 10 inches.
right. They were much bigger than I remember when I saw one. Probably here at your home where I live now, which is weird. Um, but like I hadn't seen it in a really long time, and I was like, I don't remember these being this big, which is usually the opposite.
Hmm.
But they were definitely just very large toys.
Man, this was a really good show. The bad guy's name was Doc Terror.
Doc Terror, that's great.
Doc Terror.
Oh,
I don't know if there's a picture. Oh, here we go. Is this a picture of him? Here he is. This is him. Doc Terror.
he does look like Doc Terror. Jeez.
Yep. Here we go. Doc Terror. And I don't remember this guy's name, but they were like half entire robot. And then the other half, they also had the plugs where you could plug stuff in, because why not?
Right.
Yeah,
Why not
this was a good show.
indeed?
Power Extreme, 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 Extreme.
The power is yours. It's a different show.
That's pretty good. Yeah, it was really cool. 86. Yeah, it was a really cool show. If you ever get a chance, they're probably on YouTube. But
Isn't everything?
Centurions Power Extreme, I think was technically the name of the entire show.
Probably.
But man, is this like, yeah, look at this. Oh my gosh. There we go. Beam away the old equipment, beam in the new equipment. God, the animation was good.
It was. All the animation was good back in the day. At least in the intros.
This isn't the intro. This is just part of the show. Although this is like,
Oh, really?
yeah, but
Nice.
this is like, this is what they whenever they need to do something, they get like beamed up into anime space. This
Uh-huh.
is they reuse this footage all the time, but this is now
That's
it's
funny.
normal animation. Doctor. Oh, it says Doctor Terror here. I don't like that. I don't want to be too formal with this guy.
Right. What's up, Doc? Terror.
This is from the first episode, I think. Or maybe that's from the opening. I don't know. Either way, it was a good show.
Either way, we're watching it
Yep,
with no sound.
exactly. I also have the sound off, so
Keeping it
yep.
fair. That's
I
what I
don't have
like
any
about you,
unfair
Brian.
advantages. So anyway, I just I just remember that the the first episode they used the same line like twice where they like knocked something into a hole and then they were like, that's good, but let's make sure he stays there. And then they would like bury it. And then they did the exact same gag like later in the episode and it's not like they're not like hanging a lantern on it or anything. It's just like they accidentally wrote the same line into two parts of the script.
Like maybe they were like, we won't use both these parts, but then we did.
Yep. Well, Pat, my Bubba is getting that's my water bottle. If in case you forgot, my Bubba is getting to be empty, so I could use a break to go refill my water, and
Okay.
then we will be back with whatever else Pat told me to put on the agenda because I already forgot. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh there's good stuff coming up.
There is good
Okay,
stuff to talk about
we'll
today.
be back in like 2 to 5 minutes.
Hooray!
You know what we should do actually is have a different screen that's like we're coming back in 2 minutes kind of thing, so that they know. I don't know. So we're not just like suddenly back, and it's like, holy crap, they're back. Know what I mean?
I do. I do. We'll work on that.
So I've got a thing to show.
Hmm.
Kind of sort of putting it together right now, but because I'm unprepared. Okay, now I'm prepared. So this is a thing that I actually got a little while ago, and it's kind of been sitting in the background here for a couple of weeks, and I'm just now getting around to opening it because I feel like it. But let me show you this pen. Look at that.
Oh, what is that?
Very large, right?
Seems that way. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
52
Why is it a
plus,
plus?
plus,
Yeah. What's
right?
the plus about? I can't wait to find out more.
So inside that box, you would find,
A much smaller box.
no, you'd think so, but it's actually the exact same size box with, oh geez, with a picture of this guy.
Yeah, look at that guy. He's got his mouth open and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Look,
Who is that guy?
how is it that I'm getting my up and down mixed up? Like I'm getting the right.
I.
Anyway,
We should figure out how to reverse this for us.
you can reverse it. Actually, can I reverse? I think I can reverse it. I don't know. But anyway,
Figure,
this is what's on the back. He's plus.
who is this guy?
Oh yeah, right. Whoop.
Thundercracker version 2.0.
Yes. So he's 52 plus because Starscream. Do they show Starscream on the back? There's kind of the guys there.
Mm-hmm.
Starscream is 52, and he's a repaint, so he's 52 plus. So,
Ah.
but he's got features and accessories.
I've got features and accessories.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So here he is, right here, finally packaged in jet mode, and he's still got some plastic
Ooh,
under
it's a
hanging out under here that I can't get out until I transform him. But yeah, there he is.
it's a good mold.
Yeah, it is, and it's a really cool transformation too. So he's got articulating toes back here, jet jet
Hmm.
feet, whatever. You know the jets. Oh geez, punch the mic. He's
Yeah,
got
Benny and the Jets. Got it.
he's got a cockpit that opens up, and then inexplicably, I don't know why they continue to do this. Oh wait, actually, did they stop? Oh no, they didn't. Yeah, I don't know why they continue to do this. It's not necessary for transformation or anything, but I turned this way. The radar thing in the north corner or whatever, they put this in every single masterpiece jet. I don't know why. Nobody cares about this. It's like the one detail that they feel like they can get away with, but nobody cares. Although actually, you might actually need to move that for. You might need to pop that open for transformation on this one. So who knows?
Who
He does
knows? You
have
will in a minute.
on the bottom here a lot of flaps you got to open. And then eventually you can get out his landing gear. So there's
Nice.
his landing gear down there, and then on the nose here, little too on the nose, if you ask me. Somehow, okay, so that opens up like that. There you go. So then he's got the other landing gear there. So
Nice.
he can land. He's got the missile launcher laser pod things under the wings. I just snapped them on there, but it is actually possible to attach them to these little tabs and keep them attached to him while he transforms instead of like popping them off and then
Nice.
putting them on the other place. So I'm going to transform
Hmm.
this guy while you talk about the next topic, whatever you choose. It was Migos or He-Mans. So I will transform him while you're doing that, and then we'll take a look.
Let's talk about the Migos because I feel like you'll have less to talk about for that one, so you can
I'm going to
focus.
need some time.
Um. So
I said I'm going to need some
what?
time. He's a complicated transformer.
I see. Why am I small?
Yeah, why are you small? Your thing did that thing again. What the heck? Pat, shut your camera off and turn it back on again.
You got it.
Skype. Oh, it got a little bigger.
A little bit. Let's try it again.
It worked.
Hey, call me Ant
Yeah, there you
Man.
go. Well, that's technology
Uh,
for you. No idea what's going on there.
so, uh, I don't know if y'all remember, or perhaps you're fans and you know this, but the Mego Corporation came back a couple years ago, and they came back with a vengeance. Um, for those of you who don't know or
All
remember,
connectors.
Mego was 8-inch cloth figure or cloth clothed figures. Um, they were very popular back in the 70s. Now they're very popular again, but when they started their journey on becoming awesome, they entered a deal with Target, and Target apparently made a an interesting request, and they wanted the whole opening line to be from like vintage TV shows. Um, and so that line didn't end up doing very well. I was ecstatic. I thought it was really awesome. One of my favorite shows of all time that has like no merch for you to buy is Cheers. And they came out with a Norm and a Cliff and a Woody, and that's it. And so um stories go, I've heard different stories. I've never heard it confirmed. I think the idea was that they were going to release a Sam and Diane 2-pack, um because they did very odd 2-packs. They did a Full House 2-pack that came with DJ and Stephanie. And what's worse is they like for the girl figures, for whatever reason, they didn't even try to hit likenesses, not even a little. So like they were just two random blonde little girls then that came in a weird triangle box that had kind of a set in it. Like the idea was, you got kind of a play set ish, but it's just a piece of cardboard. Um, and then they also put out like a Bewitched 2-pack that was um the mom and the cousin that was the same as Samantha. I don't know. It was very weird.
And that's, yeah,
Very
that's really
weird.
weird choices.
I think the only logical choice that was made, two of them, they did a Mirror Universe Trek set with Mirror Spock and Mirror Kirk, I think. And then they did an I Dream of Jeannie pack with Jeannie and Major Nelson, which I totally bought. I was very excited about that because I love old TV. I think it's great. Anyway, long story short, Sam and Diane were supposed to come out allegedly as a 2-pack, but that whole section of the line got killed, and apparently Migo did not do very well with them, and so the odds of us ever getting the completion to our Cheers lineup is next to nothing.
That is
Well,
possible.
let me let me tell you, thanks to Mr. Chuck
Hmm.
Hetfield, who I met in a Mego, possibly the official Mego toy forum. I don't really know. Anyway, he posted some pictures of some sculpts that he was working on, and one of which was the toy that I was lamenting not having, one Mr. Sam Malone.
That
And
looks really good.
I, I was lucky enough to purchase. It's not even a casting. He does 3D modeling, and so that's just a solid, awesome looking 3D print. Um, and it looks great. It is the epitome of Sam Malone. Um, and again, I love Cheers, but if there was a sitcom that I loved more than Cheers, it was Night Court.
Mm.
Night Court has always been one of my absolute favorite shows. Um, it really sucked because for a very, very long time, it wasn't streaming anywhere or anything. Like I couldn't even find whole episodes on YouTube. I had the first, or I have the first 4 seasons. It ran for 9 years,
Oh
nine
wow, I
seasons.
didn't even
It's a lot of.
realize.
Yeah, it was on well into the 90s, which is interesting. And it was the first big semi procedural judicial show. Like without Night Court, there is no Law and Order. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't happen. And what maybe a lot of people who are a little younger than us would not know, and even people who are our age probably don't even really remember, is that Harry Anderson, who played Judge Stone, also played a character on Night Court on and off, which was more or less himself. He played a character named Harry the Hat, and he would come in and he would do up close magic and basically figure out ways to grift people in the bar. I loved Harry Anderson so much. I watched Dave. You remember that show?
No.
It was a show called Dave about him being named
Hmm.
Dave.
Hmm.
It wasn't a great
Oh,
show, but I watched. Or no, it was Dave's World. Dave was the
Dave's World,
president
I've
of
heard
it.
of. Yeah, yeah,
Dave's
I know what you're
World
talking about.
was him. Um, long story short, I friggin' love Harry Anderson, and the guy made a Harry the Hat head, and it's also you could use it as a Judge Stone since when he's not wearing the robes, he was often wearing his fedora there.
Hmm.
Um, and again, the likeness is, I don't know if it comes through because I'll tell you, when I saw the original pictures online, I was like, that's pretty good, but I don't know, maybe I might need to touch it up some. Um, but when I got it in hand, I was just blown away by how much it looks like
Yeah.
him. It's really good. Now, what's interesting with the way he did this is he made the hat removable, but only I think for possibly printing or painting purposes, because as you
Or
see,
for brain eating.
Harry Harry's head is just not there when you take the hat off. So I obviously I'm going to keep the hat on him. Um, and it's a great little figure or head. I can't wait. I've got to go shopping on my favorite Migo Migo non Migo site, Classic TV Toys, where they just have accessories and stuff. And so I got to pick out a couple outfits for these guys, get a couple bodies, might get a pair of glasses for Harry. Um, and then hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I'll have a Sam and Harry to show off. Um, and again, it was just such a bummer to get like a good portion of the core Cheers cast, but not the main
Hmm.
character. Like that's just a terrible, terrible thing to do. At least with the other ones, like way weirder choices were made. Like they made some Brady Bunch figures. They made Greg, Alice, I think, and Marsha, but specifically the Marsha that got hit in the face with the football.
Yeah,
And it's like,
they were kind of.
why did we do
That felt like
this?
they were kind of doing that Super Seven thing where they latch on to like one specific touchstone, kind of.
Right, right. Or and like I guess the idea was longevity. They didn't want to be like, here are all the Brady's or here are all of. Again, I think there were two Charlie's Angels put out, and there was one of the sisters from Charmed put out, one of the characters from Facts of Life. It's like maybe two. I can't really remember. The point was it was really not the best
Hmm.
model. And it doesn't surprise me that it failed. What just sucks though is that we were people who were excited about this got left with a bunch of partial collections. Um, but again, you enter these awesome people who are out there. Chuck Hetfield, he made a bunch of. I wonder if I can find real quick what else he made. I know he did a Magnum PI because he sent me one of those for free because he's that awesome. Um, in my package with these two. Um, I know he was working on a Frasier, and um, And I think he was actively working on detectives. I know he did like a Detective Stabler. Um, he did Kolchak the Night Stalker, which was not a detective, but he was a mystery solver. He was a I don't know if you remember that show or not. I really don't. But it was the dad from A Christmas Story, in like Twilight Zone type episode things. Basically, I felt like. But anyway, long story short, here I'm ecstatic to have these, and I cannot flip and wait to put them together, and to share them with you guys. I'm gonna show you guys what I did. You guys can tell me how proud you are of me,
Well,
because I need
I'm
validation.
always proud of you, Pat. You do great stuff.
Oh, thanks.
I'm almost done with this transformer, but I feel like I've still got a ways to go. But before I do more, I want to show you a detail that's on here. Um, so as you're transforming him, you have to take like you end up taking the wings from the back of the jet and folding them behind the wings behind him, and then so like there's a flap
Oh,
in the
okay.
actual jet wings that you open up, and then you fold these down, and then you put it back up to cover it. But look at look at the detail in this spot that you only see while you're transforming it.
That's amazing. That is amazing. They even put paint
Yeah,
apps in there. Is that like show accurate, or
no, I don't
like,
think
or is
that's
it
I don't
were
think
they
that's a
just
script.
like, this is a boring piece of plastic? Add some paint to it.
This is a thing that they do to hide extra pieces so that they're not just hanging off of him. So like this isn't how he transforms on the show. Like
Gotcha.
his tail fins
Gotcha.
don't go into his wings or anything. They literally just did this to hide them, and I guess they figured we'll paint them. We'll sculpt some stuff and paint it.
Why
It's not
not?
like there's no feature where these are supposed to open back up or anything. It
Hmm.
just it is what it is. And I think I was
That's
supposed to
awesome.
fold these down first. Well, anyway, um,
Well, you keep going if you
well,
want, and I will talk about something
yeah, you
else.
want to hit that? You want to talk about those new He-Man toys?
We'll wait on that because I have one
All
other
right.
thing that we'll talk about, and hopefully you'll be done by
Let's
then.
let's go.
Um, as you know, if you watched last
I
week,
didn't.
it was my
Mm.
birthday, and I got two birthday
Mm.
presents. I'm going to show them to you now. One of which is something that I wanted to talk about on the show anyway, because I wish I had the rest of mine up here, but I don't. I just have this one. Um, Hasbro put out a set of new 3 and 3/4 inch Marvel figures, and they are awesome. They are everything that I want in action figures. They're $10,
Mhm.
pretty
Yep, that's
cheap
important.
comparatively. Um, and they are just the first of all, Hasbro officially is not who put them out. Kenner is who puts them out, and I love that they did that. It's I know that it's a sucker punch. I get
Yeah,
it. I get that I'm the sucker.
Hasbro bought Kenner in
Um,
the '90s. That's what Pat's referring to here. Kenner hasn't been its own company for a while, but
right. But every so often, especially if they put out like vintage Star Wars, they'll put the Kenner brand back on there. And I always loved Kenner. Kenner was a
I
great
mean,
toy
Kenner
brand.
is who did the Beast Wars Transformers. In the, yeah, in the
Really?
'90s,
I did not
Hasbro
know
was
that.
like, I don't know about this Transformers revival thing. Why don't we just let Kenner do this?
Awesome. I had no idea. Um, so anyhow, long story short, I tried my best, and I've been doing pretty good, to be honest. Um, I personally have only purchased X-Men from this line because I felt like this was a line that was really easy for me to slip into. Got to collect them all,
You know,
and I don't want to collect them all anymore. I'm trying desperately to not collect them all anymore. Um, But every so often, I was like, well, you know, it's Ant Man. He's appropriately sized. It's hilarious. I have to have an Ant Man, and it's like, well,
hmm,
I did put several Avengers on my holiday wish list, and I ended up getting a couple of them. I went, well, so officially now, definitely all the X-Men and maybe some Avengers along the way, which leads me to this big green fella,
Uh,
the Hulk.
an excellent
And
choice. Anyone who gets that is a
he's
smart one.
great. He's great. And again, I wish I had the other ones up here, but I mean, so this final faction guy is roughly a 3 3/4, right? So these figures are scale 3 3/4. So Hulk does stand a good head taller than the rest of the line. And what's even better is Wolverine stands about a head
Yeah,
shorter. And
accurate.
so when you have your Hulk and Wolverine, which I'm actually very excited to do, when they fight, they will be semi appropriately sized. Um, this is great. Especially, it was great because I got this from my brother and his family, but specifically from my niece Alyssa, who doesn't watch the show. Um, but shout out to you, kiddo, um, because my brother actually got me. He bought me the animated series Storm. So that was pretty cool of him. Of course, that doesn't come in for many, many moons. Um, but when they came over, my niece apparently said, "Well, we got to get him something," and I bet he doesn't have this, and I
Hmm.
didn't, and so now I do, and it's awesome. And then the other thing I got for my birthday, from my daughter, I got this soda can from Funko of the Green Lantern. So it's a Green Lantern soda, but of course it's not a soda. It's a toy because Funko doesn't make sodas; they make toys. Silly rabbit. But look at how cute he is. He
He's
is,
got like a real Hanna-Barbera feel to him.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, and I mean these little soda cans are adorable. I love that they made them. I have one other of them that's Skeletor, so that's the kind of thing these are. They just kind of run through whatever properties Funko can get their hands on, basically. And then of course, for no reason, a Pog.
Hmm.
It's actually a little larger than a Pog, and it does tell you that this is one of 10,500, not a special number.
Yeah, but that tells you
Um,
how many you need to collect to get the whole.
right, right. There was a chance at getting a chase with I think it was. It doesn't show on here, but I'm pretty sure it was the White Lantern version of Hal. Um, so I would have been disappointed had I gotten the chase. So I thought those were good. It was a good time. How you coming, buddy?
Um,
I can keep talking.
I'm good. I thought I was good, but then I just realized I got to slide these kneecaps up. Okay, I'm good now.
Okay, great.
You ready
Let's
for the big
see.
reveal?
I'm
Okay, here
ready.
we go.
Nice. He looks great. He looks very on model
Yep,
animated.
they've been working really hard at that. Because like the box said, this was version 2.0. This is actually the third one of him that's come out. The first one, actually, no, they didn't do the first one with the first mold. So the first Starscream mold sucked.
Mhm.
It was bad. Like they didn't really the goal was to make a realistic F-15, and then the rest was just like, and then he'll just have like jet parts just like hanging off random spots and everything. And then they did a retool of it to kind of take those random spots and at least put them where they were on the original toy.
Mhm.
So it was okay, but still not great. But then with this one, the goal was cartoon accuracy. And so, but
Nice.
what's impressive is like on the toy, the original toy, you would get like the fins hanging off the side here. For him, he's got like it's all of the fins just like fold up into a million little pieces. Whoops. And go
Nice.
into his leg. And then pretty much the entire come on, get back together. Well, whatever. Come on. There you go. Pretty much the entire jet is like smashed up into his back here. But
But
it's
man,
not
it
it's
it
not
looks
bad.
really
Yeah.
good.
And it's like you would think that having the wings come apart and putting those other fins in between would be a
Hmm.
problem, but it doesn't look that bad. Like they do a pretty good job of
Right. No.
hiding it and everything. And so like overall, like it's not a huge, looking backpack on it. Like, it looks
No.
pretty solid. And he came with
Absolutely.
three faces. Oh, his boobs can open up too, and he can shoot missiles.
Hmm, that's awesome.
But yeah, he can't. Like this is a fake. Like this isn't the actual cockpit from the jet mode.
Uh
The
huh.
actual cockpit is right behind it, but on the cartoon, it's more curvy and cartoony looking. So they have a fake one,
Oh.
which is there in the jet mode. Like it was just covered up. So, but yeah,
Hmm.
I think they did a really amazing job. So he came with three faces that they're still in the box. And the other thing that's really cool is like so these things they can come off, but they can also just stay on his arm the entire time. And this little arm thing lets him move around. So you don't have to take these off, but you can.
Nice.
And it has a little thing that comes down, then he could hold it in his hand like that.
Hmm.
He has 2 points of articulation per finger. So he's got like,
That's really impressive. I didn't even notice the finger articulation. I remember the early ones. You couldn't not notice the finger
yeah,
articulation.
no, these are really good. They've gotten really good with the fingers. The other thing that's cool is like the other
That's what she said.
masterpiece jet figures would generally either have just this gun, which is what it looks like in robot mode, which is like a
Uh
blaster.
huh.
But the original toys you'd be able to pull the blaster part out and put a missile in there, and then it would like launch a missile. And so
Hmm.
the masterpiece figures would either give you just the laser version, or they would give you two guns, and you would switch them out however you want. But this version does this, and now it's the missile.
Nice.
Yep,
That is impressive.
and now it's a gun. So anyway, it's a really good mold. They're expensive,
Heck
but
yeah.
it's worth it if you can afford it.
That's how it
Yeah,
goes.
everything's worth it.
Such is life.
So he will go over on the masterpiece wall, which is off camera. Oh, the downside of these guys though is that their feet are really loose. And so if you
Mm.
don't, yeah, you got to kind of lean him back because he will lean forward and fall over
Oh,
really
jeez.
easy. So I'm speaking from experience from having the star screen, and I was hoping that this would be fixed up for Thundercracker, but it is not. It is still wobbly, but that's how I was able to transform it just now without reading the instructions. It's going from
Hmm,
memory, but it's still really complicated. The masterpiece ones are getting more and more complicated, which I enjoy.
that's awesome.
Complicated is a fine line to walk, because you don't want it to be like discouragingly complicated, but you do want it to be fun, but you don't want it to just be
Right.
like, you know, like all the guys on the shelf back there are standard, like kids transformers, and they're like 13 steps or whatever. This is like 150 steps or something, you know.
Wow.
But it's good.
Yeah, I was always a little intimidated when I looked at the instructions to a masterpiece and just be like, oh my
These are
gosh.
way more expensive, or wait, not expensive. Well, they are, but these are way more complicated than the like original masterpiece Optimus from like almost 20 years ago.
Right. That's the one I
Yeah,
have. Apparently, sadly, because nobody cares for that one.
yeah. Well, I mean, they're on Masterpiece Optimus 3.0 already now. So,
Jeez.
but the engineering on these is really good. Like, they're complicated, but you get those little moments of delight while you're transforming them, where you realize, like, wow, this is all just gonna slide into place, or something like that. Like they work those things, and there's in Inferno, which he turns into a fire truck. The cartoon model of the character doesn't have the ladder on it anywhere. It's just gone from the cartoon model. And
Hmm.
so in the original toy, it would just hang off his back. But they managed to make it like fold, 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 fold into his body. The entire thing just disappears inside of him, and it's insane.
That's awesome. That's what you get though. You gotta you know you put enough people who really give a shit about it, and all of a sudden cool stuff happens.
The masterpiece line is the only line where I actually know the names of the sculptors and the designers. Oh, yes, they're it, they're cool, you know.
There you
So
go. That's awesome.
so anyway, let's talk about He-Mans. Do you have a link you want to send me for the announcements or anything? I could put them up.
I could not find a link to the announcements per se. What I was thinking we could do is we could look at our Discord, because if you go to our Discord, I do in fact post pictures in the toy collecting forum.
Well, let
Um,
me you talk about them while I figure out how to get the Discord up on the stream.
all right, can't you just open the website?
Oh,
Or no, it's not a website; it's an app.
I mean,
Damn you!
technically you can. I don't.
Right. Any hoozle. So basically, I'll give us the lead up here. Um, they this whole week has been new Masters of the Universe reveals, which has been really awesome. The week started out with the I got pictures here I can go through. So for those of you who don't know, and Brian who doesn't care,
Sure.
no, the Sunman line. And I know I've talked about this in the past a little. Um, but a quick refresher: Sunman was made by a mom whose son came to her in the 80s and said that, he was sad because he didn't feel like he could be a superhero because he didn't have any heroes that looked like him, which is really sad because, again, that's something that, we've been privileged enough to never have to worry about. Superheroes always kind of look like us. Um, and so the mom did the coolest thing a mom could do, and she went ahead and made a toy company happen. um, so that one is
Um,
not the one we're talking about at the
you
moment.
know, I just realized that
Go.
I can just click on these links and they open in a browser.
Well, that's awesome. Go to the one with the Tila on it and King Randor. Probably one of the first
Uh,
ones I posted.
this one,
Yeah,
there, yeah,
that's the one.
there.
So, as you can see there, we're getting another new He-Man. But this one is super cool because it's 2000X He-Man in the vintage style, which is super cool. I don't know why it delights me so, but I love the notion that it's available in like a vintage style.
Okay, I
Um,
figured that out.
Perfect. So then we got Tila. Now this Tila is interesting because it is quasi 2000X style. You'll note that she has her 2000X sword, and her coloring is similar to 2000X, but nothing is really different about the figure. It's just a straight repaint. But this one comes with Zor, which is again, see, I struggle with this line a little bit because a good chunk of the line is just, hey, here's exactly what we sold you 30 years ago, but with elbows and knee articulation.
Mhm.
And so stuff like that, while I keep buying it, it doesn't interest me as much as something new. Now, again, you look at this roster here: that He-Man, the three guys from Sunman, which are to his left. I don't know their names. I know that crazy looking pig guy is the bad guy. I'm not sure. The guy on the very end looks like maybe he's a bad guy, maybe he's a good guy. I don't know. I'm excited to learn more. I really am very excited about this line. Um, and then, like I said, so Tila there on the off to the right is coming with Zor. Not
Zor,
pictured, but Zor looks exactly
Zor
like
is the bird. Yes,
uh,
or
the
bird.
bird. Yep. And it's the whole thing. So you get the bird, the perch, the armor that went on Zor that nobody had anymore. Uh, so that's all kind of, it's cool. And then we got King Randor, which is pretty freaking cool. Um, Space. Okay, wait. I just found the names of the Sunman guys. Um, that the first guy is Digitino, I believe, and he uses computer wizardry to fight Pighead, which is
I got
the
I
very cleverly named guy with a pig for a head. Um, so that's cool. That's cool. I honestly I remember this toy from the '80s, and I always wanted one, never had it because he looks. I mean, he's got a fucking pig for a head.
hmm
This really cool looking toy. He's almost Green Goblin-y, his color scheme wise. But anyway, then Space Sumo, a telekinetic ninja, is here to fight for justice. So he is, even though he's got a mask on, which made me originally think, I guess I have a little too much J. Jonah Jameson in
hmm
me to think that the man in a mask is the bad
Yeah,
guy.
that's
Um,
discriminatory, Pat.
it is, and I
You're
apologize.
gonna have to talk to HR.
Um, I will go see HR. King Randor, I really like his face.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of updated his face in a way that makes him look a little less like just a bearded He-Man. Uh, so I think that's pretty
Can I
cool.
just say, if if I was actually like the king, like legitimately the number one ruler of a place that had like a
Hmm.
standing army and all of that stuff, I would definitely wear a like an ornate sweatshirt and then just like underwear and boots. You know, like cape. Like
Listen,
I would do
listen.
that.
It was the
Who's gonna
style at
stop
the
me?
time. Who's gonna stop you, indeed? All right, let's go ahead and
Yeah,
move
I told
along here because we got a
look,
lot
they're
of
all just
these
wearing underwear.
reveals. I know,
That's the style, as was the style at the time. Okay.
as
What
was the style.
which image am I going to next?
Uh, Go to the new Masterverse villains.
Yes, sir. It's gonna take a
So
minute.
the Masterverse is the 6-inch scale line that they have out. That's the highly posable, kind of the replacement for classics, which is really cool because they went ahead and put out a Skeletor from the new cartoon show, which is really not bad, by the way. It is very different. It is not necessarily the way I would have gone, but also I'm entertained. So there you go. I will be buying this figure for my Skeletor collection. Next up, we got Beastman. This Beastman is pretty awesome. I guess he comes mostly from early concept sketches. You can't see it in that picture there, but he has like a helmet that kind of looks like I don't know, a wolf or something. I don't really know. There's a helmet though that fits over his head there, and then you've got an optional different um shoulder piece, headpiece thing that's actual fur. So that's kind of cool. And it's like a totally different harness. It's got a skull on it. It's very nifty. Then we have Katra rocking her sweet 80s style mask on and
Mm-hmm.
everything. Um,
I thought she was
if
a
we
cat.
switch over to the other side, what's up?
I thought she was a cat when she had the mask on. Okay.
Sometimes.
Moving right along.
Moving right along. We got Hordak there, which is a
That's
pretty
the best
cool.
Hordak I've ever seen, honestly.
It's really cool. I really like it. I love the energy to the
Mm-hmm.
bow. Um I wish the cape was made of a little bit better material. That's just, I don't know, the capes that they use for this set is not great.
Yeah, I was looking at that
Um
with the Catra too. It looks really thin.
yeah. Yeah, it just looks cheap. So but the figure itself looks really good. I think I'll be picking this one up. Oh yeah, then let's see. He does come with a detachable blaster
Hmm.
arm as well. So that's always neat. Then we've got Jitsu looking pretty badass. Um, he
I mean, he
has.
kind of looks like he's got osteoporosis, but I mean,
I can see that.
I'm not
Yes, I
saying
can see that.
you can't have that and be badass too. It's those two
True.
things are not
True.
mutually exclusive.
Absolutely not. So, but he's looking very cool. He's got his sweet golden hand, and he's ready to chop up some bad guys, or I mean, good guys.
Either one. Who needs chopping?
Exactly. Whatever needs chopping, he's gonna chop. Uh, let's hop on over to new origins figures and vehicle.
New or oh, and vehicle, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So this one was kind of a surprise. Montana has four legs,
Not to be confused with the
actually.
state of Montana. This is
Right.
Mantena, because he's a man,
Right.
and I guess his eyes are kind of look like antennas or something.
True. What's kind of cool about this, because again, I think they're trying to like the action features have to have functionality with their ability to be torn apart and put back together. So instead of having a lever on his back that makes his eyes pop out, it looks to me like you can push his head back and the eyes will stay where they're put or stay where they are and the head will retract almost. Um, which is weird. But whatever. They could have given us no action feature on it. And again, they're giving us four legs.
I
Four
mean,
legs. The old figure, I don't know if you
technically it
remember.
had four legs. They were just grouped.
Right. There were two pieces of plastic that were molded together to
Yeah,
make four
I
legs.
I had that figure as a kid because he's probably
Mhm.
one of my favorite designs across the entire He-Man She-Ra universe just because he's so like look at that face. Look at that. I love
I
that face.
know, he's real
And
messed up.
the eyeballs on the stalks and everything and the legs. And I
Mhm.
remember distinctly like, I'd be watching the show and thinking like, man, I wish my toy had four legs. I'm like playing with the toy and one day realizing like, oh wait, he does have that is just weird. Like
He does
they're
have
just
four
molded
legs?
together as
This
if he's
is
got two legs, but they're
right.
two of them are just stuck to each other. I wonder if you could I'll see if I can find a picture so
Absolutely.
we know what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
I don't know how you spell Montana?
Um
Mantenna. Yep, right there. So you could probably forgive me not realizing that these are supposed to be two legs.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But I mean, he also had a very good and unique shape to him. Like I love those, like those arms are real
Mhm.
curved in, and like he just had he was a cool toy. He was a weird, cool toy. Yeah, that was
That's
the Four Horsemen
yeah,
one,
that's
right?
cool.
Super
Yep.
Seven. So this one is pretty sweet. It's not quite as sweet as that, but pretty sweet. And then let's move over to 2000X Skeletor. Very cool. I love the fact that we're getting all these different versions of the characters in a vintage type style because that is my preferred Masters of the Universe anyway. I will say I would put a cape on this figure
Oh yeah.
because 2000X totally rocked a
The
cape.
toy didn't though, unless you got the Keldor, the
Right.
exclusive, which was my canonical Skeletor figure. Ironically, I just ditched the Keldor head.
It was a badass
Hmm.
toy.
Oh, it
Really
really was.
badass.
That whole line had some good designs.
Heck yeah. All right, let's move over here to
Beastman
Grizzlor.
2.0.
I love Grizzlor. He's such a weird little toy. Um,
He's a tribble with arms and legs.
he
He
is.
wasn't
He
this fuzzy
is.
on the show, which was disappointing.
No. And I heard because this Grizzlor is not the first Grizzlor to come out in this line. They put him out with the PowerCon exclusives last year, and so they talked a little bit about having um, to rework his little pelt there to work with the taking things apart aspect. He's got to be able to detach at the waist. And so I can't really tell how this goes. Like there might be it might be akin to like a baby onesie where like his fur like gets connected underneath the
Oh,
kid in the
yeah, okay.
undercarriage. Or he is wearing furry
The,
underpants and a
the
furry top
undercarriage.
so you can pop them all off. Um, and it would have to be a furry head too. So there's a chance that there are three separate pieces of fur going on right now.
That should
So
be enough.
it's just enough. Now this one is one of my favorite updates. Not that one. Sorry.
What?
The one up in the corner. Da da da. Leech. Um, you can't see it on your picture,
Send me the good
but
pictures.
this is definitely going to be a deluxe figure because he comes with different hands and feet, or rather, head and
Hmm.
hands. His feet are always suction cups, it would appear, but you do have additional hands that are not suction cups, and a head that looks very cool and is not a suction cup
Can
mouth.
he can he
So
attach to curtains?
I doubt it highly. He will only be able to attach to smooth, flat
Okay.
surfaces.
Just to be clear here,
So
this isn't false advertising. I mean, it kind of.
it's totally not. Anyway, let's go on down to Mr. Snout Spout. I love this Snout Spout. Again, this may be a deluxe figure because I have seen other images where he does have a fully functioning hose nose that spits water like the vintage original
The
does.
snout spout has a
Um,
hose nose.
he has a hose
Okay.
nose.
Oh,
This one though is just articulated.
okay.
So the one seen here, just regular articulation. The other one is very straight, just like the original one, and it just attaches to a big backpack that has water in it
Now,
for you to squirt
now
out.
let me ask you a lore question because I'm not very
Yeah,
familiar with snout spout.
I will do my best.
Is this one of those situations where they were like, he accidentally got his head knocked off in battle, and they were like, we're gonna have to give you a robot head, but all we have in stock is this elephant, and then he just rolled
So
with it.
interestingly enough, what I've come to find out, and this was only recently because I too knew nothing about the character. I had the toy as a kid, but knew nothing about the character. Um, you remember? What's his name? Dang it.
What's he look like?
Rip Riptar, something like that. He was the one that
Corn.
had a tire on his belly.
Oh, okay.
He
Sure.
was
Yeah,
he was a
I
horde
don't know his
character.
name.
I can't remember his name either. That's I'm ashamed of myself. Um, it could have been Ripcord. I'm gonna find out. Um,
Rip, cool, rip, draw, ripness. Oh, there's a, I didn't search for that. I didn't give it enough. I assume he was from the,
he's vintage,
yeah, he's from the Sheeper line though,
but
right?
he was a horde member. Um,
Of course, we would get Rule 34 in my results. Okay, sorry, we're getting it out of here. We're back to hose nose. All right, keeping it keeping it PG with hose nose.
okay, hold on now. I'm sure I'm gonna find him in a second here. Da-
Okay, is this important to the
this
conversation?
is
It's
this is
wheel gut.
the
Okay, yeah,
wheel gut the gut
wheel
man.
gut.
Um, dragster. Oh, dragster.
Not
Anyway,
drag
so
store. I feel like
well, it is drag store.
okay.
Um, so dragster and snout spout. I don't remember their real names, but they were friends, and the horde captured them and did experiments on them, and snout spout escaped And if I remember the story correctly, I think that he tried to get Dragster to come with him, but Dragster was like, "No, I'm staying and being a bad guy." Unless that was headcanon that I made up when I was a child. That's possible. But I am pretty sure that's a story. So again, Snout Spout was not like, "Hey, you know what I need?" Uh, also, wasn't Mechanic like that? It's like, "Oh no, tragically,
He lost his neck in battle.
he, he, he broke his neck in battle, and so he fixed it, so he'll never lose his neck again, because it's
He had a
gigantic.
sale.
I don't
He
even
had a
know."
sale on necks. So you're not just six
Man at
times
Arms is
longer.
just like digging around. He's like, "What do I have with all these necks? What am I gonna do with all
These
these
are getting
necks?
close to
Good
expiration.
Lord, Mechaneck broke his neck." It's fortunate he has that
Every
name. Bring him to me.
every single one of the masters is just like a tragic accident followed by a botched surgery.
And a fortunate
Yeah.
name, because they were all called that
Mhm.
before they got their
Yeah,
powers.
he was called. They called him Snout Spout in school. Yeah.
He just had a big nose. That's all.
Anyway,
A little.
moving on. What's the
Um.
middle?
Oh yeah. So then the vehicle, is the Roton, which was always one of my
Like a
favorite
Pokemon.
vehicles. Just like a Pokemon. What's weird slash interesting about this version, though, is that it comes with a couple of accessories that it was originally supposed to, but they canceled for various reasons, probably just cost. Um, but it's kind of weird. There's like a cage thing. Now, do you remember the original
I
toy?
had the original toy.
So it looked very much just like that. Um, the only place that ever showed this top part was like a model. You could buy a model of
This thing.
it, uh, of that same toy, but it was a model, not a
Huh.
toy. And then there was like a red cage that clipped on the top of it that would help keep your figure inside of it. So this new version comes with that. But then interestingly, like the super scary weird eye face is removable on this, and you can put a different scary face on it that is also, like, I would say just as scary, but it's to make it like a good guy version.
Hmm.
But somehow, some way, this is not a
Is this
scary face.
vehicle alive?
Anyway,
Is
what's
this
that?
vehicle alive?
I don't think so. I don't believe that's part of its shtick.
Okay.
Um, So, all right, we have 2 days left to cover here. So let's press forward and go to more new Masters vs. Heroes.
I like the clever names they're giving these.
Yes, yes. First of all, the first one we have here, of course, is the new animated series He-Man, which I don't love his design for whatever reason. They stayed pretty close on the bad guys and strayed really, really far on the good
Mhm.
guys. And I don't know why. I don't understand that logic, but it is what it is. I will probably pick this figure up just to have a He-Man and Skeletor from the line.
It's a really good
But
representation of the way he looks on the show. Like
it
it's a good
is.
figure.
It's beautiful. In fact, I was questioning if that really is a figurehead or if that's a CGI
Yeah.
model. I'm still not 100% sure. Obviously the arms have articulation in them or whatnot, but it's like, yeah, you could fake all that.
Mm.
this this could all be CGI right now. So we'll see what he looks like when he comes
Yeah, this
out.
actually could be a CGI pre-render.
Right. So let's move along.
Which one we got?
I think on my page we're going all the way to the left
No.
to badass battle armor He-Man.
Yeah, man.
This is like the most badass He-Man I've ever seen, and I'm not just saying that because I dig
Huh?
beards, but an official canon He-Man with a beard now is pretty awesome. I really like the armor; it's very functional looking. The shield, you can't really see it in that picture, but the shield is actually weathered and everything, and it's got like a very nice coat of arms with that big H on it and everything. It's very cool. Very cool. And then we've got the little nod to the original um, He-Man where he had a knife in his boot. So you've got the knife in the boot there.
With
So
regard to
that's
this
pretty
thing
sweet.
over here, the shoulder thing.
Yeah, he's got that big old like Man at Arms 2000X shoulder thing
Yeah, with
going
like
on.
snake armor He-Man.
Yeah, yeah. So very cool. All right, moving right along. Next to him is it his son? Is it somebody from the future or past? I don't know, but it's Hero. If this is, I believe this is specifically from Revelations, so that would mean he is He-Man's ancestor.
Okay.
Um,
And he comes with the ice
so
cream scoops of justice.
he does, which is delicious. I don't believe there's any difference in gems this time
Hmm.
around. In the previous releases of Hero, there were different colored gems, and you didn't know which one you would get, and it didn't mean anything to anybody.
And he's
So,
got like the that facial expression of like, is that the new He-Man?
when
Huh.
does this happen? Is this
Is
canon?
this my son or my dad?
Exactly. All right, let's hop on over to the other side of the aisle there. Keep going.
Yeah.
One more person over right there to Shira. This Shira is one of the best Shiras I've ever seen. I am hands down definitely going to buy the figure and replace the cloth cape
Doesn't have a cape
because
at
you can't
all.
even see it
Yeah.
on there. It's real bad, just like all
Hmm.
of them. Other things you can't see on there. She does come with the sword of protection and sword to shield. And what I think is really cool is she comes with two options for capes. Her one cape is the traditional where it's kind of got the like the collar on her neck and it's just hangs off the back. The other one is kind of inspired more by the anime kind of cartoon where it's like a shoulder thing that then the cape comes from. It's very neat looking. And then the other thing I'm always glad that they include in these things is um the upside down Shira mask
Hmm.
version. So it looks like she's wearing a superhero helmet. So that one is obviously where the shoulder pads kind of come in. It's kind of a cool alternate take on Shira altogether. Um, Again, maybe it's an excuse to buy two Shiras.
Oh,
I won't be, but still, it's very cool. Then let's go back over to the left there. This is what Sunman looks like in the I don't know, not ridiculous universe. I don't know if you saw Sunman like in his regular form, but he's got these like gigantic, like pointed out shoulder blades that are some sort of wings. This brings his wings into like a real functional, very cool.
very.
Um, I mean, he is badass looking in this
Hmm.
toy.
Yeah. I
So
like this. This is a really
I
these like
will,
sun solar wings, energy wings, maybe. I don't.
yeah.
Looks really cool.
So um, yeah, I really enjoy the Sunman mythos. So it's very cool. I'm excited to have him there. All right, last reveal of the week. Everybody was flipping out. They were thinking it was going to be like a Snake Mountain for the Origin series or something else.
You ready?
I'm not disappointed. I'm personally very excited. It's the 40th anniversary He-Man figure. First of all, makes me a little sad that it's the 40th
Hmm.
anniversary of He-Man figure. But look at that box. Look at how cool that box is. Look at that head. It's a vintage toy head. Um, I'm not a huge fan of the wash that they have put on the figure. Your results may vary. The one in the box here looks great. There are some other pictures of the figure out of the box. I'm hoping they're prototypes because all he looks like is that he is dirty. Like he looks like you need to just go wash him off in the sink. I'm hoping the figure in the box is a little closer to production. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's a cool looking figure. Comes with his axe, comes with his sword, comes with his shield. The body is mostly just a reuse of every other He-Man from the Revelations series. But also, let me say, as much as I do like this head, the head that Mattel made um, to mirror the original action figure head is still way better than this one. Because again, this one is much more exactly the vintage head. Like they didn't really update it. Um, I would have preferred if they went more like they did before, like I said, with the head that was kind of homagey. Do you remember what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah.
So, um, yeah, it was very cool, and it looks that is my preferred He-Man. Like on the He-Man I have on display in my home, has that head on it. I actually really hated the classics head. I didn't think it looked very good at all. So this one is leaps and bounds better. Um, so anyway, I will for sure be picking this figure up. I just love everything about it. I also am happy because the box, like these boxes, are relatively collector friendly. Where I can take him out of there uh, without destroying the box, and I can play with it or whatnot, or put it back because that's just a nice showpiece kind of a thing. You
Hmm.
know, the box is part of why it's cool. But look at that, 30 points of articulation.
Yeah, they should have went to
It's
40.
amazing. Exactly. 40 years. I'm really hoping that we get a Skeletor to go along with this somewhere. I don't know where, I don't know when. Maybe it'll be an exclusive and make me real angry, but I'm really hoping that that's not the
So
case.
this is just a
So,
repaint of an existing body, is that right?
for the most part, as far as I can tell, the boots might be um new, and I feel like the cuff on his right hand might be new, and the chest piece is new as well. But the buck is, I believe, the same one that they used for like the Revelations He-Man that they put out.
Okay.
So overall, I mean, again, this is a lot of stuff. This is a lot of stuff to reveal at one time.
Mm.
Um, so I'm excited. I will be purchasing several of these pieces. Um, so how about you? What do you think? I mean, I don't think you're gonna buy it because you're not really into that right now. But
No.
what are you feeling? What are you
I'm
liking?
I'm tempted with some of those with some of those figures. I don't really care about this guy. Um, some of these, I think maybe like uh battle damage He-Man, whatever,
Hmm.
looks really cool. Like I dig the 2000X guys in the classic style. I think that looks really
Hmm.
cool. Where's the other guy? Here he is. I think that looks really cool. Um, I don't care about those guys. That I think
I'm gonna pass on that Tila. I think that's the first uh official release because I really could give two shits about Zor.
this Hordak I think is like really speaking to me. I'm probably not going to get any of these guys, but yeah.
I dig the Hordak. I dig the Beastman. Um, but again, I am trying to be careful too because I really just like for this 6-inch type collection, I really only want core characters. Like they got to be like the major version of the character, or I have to really really enjoy the character to get in it. So I mean, this is a great Hordak. I think this is as good a Hordak as we're ever gonna get. Because he's not quite like Filmation model, but he's really close, and he's a total badass looking guy.
Hmm.
But like Jitsu's an easy pass. Um, Beastman is a hard. I'll flip flop on that a lot, I'm sure, but I won't pre-order him. You know. They have those other Masterverse figures that are starting to hit right now, where it's like He-Man and Skeletor in uh like medieval times kind of stuff. And it's like those are one of those things where I don't think I could say no to it if I saw it. Like if I see it in person, the Skeletor is probably coming home with me, but I won't go out of my way to pre-order it. So but I again, I kind of I collect Skeletors. Like I'm gonna buy that animated Skeletor. I wish I hadn't have already bought one of the animated Skeletors, because this one is like a really good representation of it. Um, I'll just give the other one to my daughter. She likes that show. She's so funny when it comes to these shows. Like she plays with the Origins figures with me all the time. And then I'll ask her, like, well, do you want some? We'll get you some. She's like, no, that's okay. It's okay. And then I like one day I was like, I got one for one of her friends, is really into it, and for their birthday, I was like, oh man, we should get them. It was when they were like clearancing out um the cats, and so I got a battle cat and a panther for like $15 total. And she was like, oh, those are so cool. I was like, well, did you want one? They're really no, I don't. And then like after they got it, she's like, I did kind of want one. It's like, "Well, now they're not on sale, buddy. You gotta, you gotta hop on this. I would buy you Masters of the Universe toys till I die." But yeah, it's real fun. And like I said, I don't think I talked about it on the show, but when we watch this cartoon show, she is hilarious because she's definitely mimicking me or mimicking what she thinks I would do, because she's like, that doesn't look like Skeletor. Nope. Oh, his voice is terrible. His voice is awful. Doesn't sound like Skeletor. And I keep trying to be like, well, you got to give it a chance, dude. Just chill out and give it a chance. And then at the end, I'm like, well, what did you? Well, I really liked it, but I would have liked it better if they looked right. I was like, I feel you, but I want you to keep an open mind. I'm old. I've earned my curmudgeonliness. You gotta give things a chance. So her being a butt is making me a better person.
Can I show you something from my world that was announced today? Real quick. I think
Yes.
you'll get a kick out of this. So they announced a two-pack of Lightning Collection figures of from the one like three issues of the comic where Trini and Jason switched powers. So it's Trini as the Red Ranger and Jason as the Yellow Ranger. And I don't know if they photoshopped these pictures, but like going on with the size of the head here? Because they clearly just
Well,
repainted the yellow into red and repainted the red one yellow, but like the helmets aren't different sizes. Like the red helmet isn't bigger than the yellow helmet. So I'm trying to,
are you sure? Because the yellow helmet looks really small on this
it
figure,
does.
and the red helmet looks really big on
No,
that other
the
figure.
the whatever Comic-Con exclusive Draken came with just all of their helmets because he killed them all and he just
Right.
and like all
Right.
their helmets are the exact same size. So I don't know what's going on. Why is this like happening? Like, is this a Photoshop? I have to because I've seen other
Also,
pictures.
why is he holding his sword like that?
This,
Is
uh,
or she holding her sword like
uh,
that?
but the other pictures don't look ridiculous like this. So I think this is just a really bad Photoshop. Like this isn't
Yeah,
really
it
where the
has to
head
be
goes.
a
But there's
has to be a bad
Are there other
Photoshop, but
pictures? Yeah, see here's another picture. It still looks kind of big, but this photo does not look nearly as bad.
right. I mean, it hammers home the idea. You know what I mean? The stupid boots are
The
still
stupid
giant.
boots are still giant. That's what we were talking about before. See how the boots like really stick out right where the white part
Yeah,
connects to the red part? It's because it's the exact same boots on the red and the yellow person.
yeah. The
The
yellow
yellow person.
person's boots are correct and normal.
And they only did this for Mighty Morphin. All the other seasons have different sized boots for the different genders. It's weird.
It's very weird.
So
That's also weird. That this is the weirdest part
this
right
Trini
here
stuff,
with
though.
their helmets
Yeah,
off.
that Trini sculpt though is fantastic. That's because that's the hair. Basically, what they did was they took the likeness from the actual actor, but then they put their comic book hair on it, which is weird. But it for him it looks weird. For her, it works out.
I mean, I recognize them both right away.
Yeah,
So, but this happens in the
in
comic
the
book.
comic book.
Okay, good, because I did not remember
No.
this. I was like, I feel like I would remember this. I was a pretty avid watcher of the Power Rangers up until Trini, Zach, and Kimberly went to the peace
Hmm.
conference. So yeah, I don't know. Pretty cool though. Did you snag a set?
I did. They
Good.
also announced a Lord
Good
Draken
on you.
helmet today, and I did not because I don't collect the big helmets.
That's fair. That's fair.
So, all right. Um, I think that's going to do it for us today, Pat.
I think it's a good place to stop.
Yeah, we could do one more crappy transition there, and
I don't think it's crappy,
I
but
hate it. I hate it. I'll fix it though. I will fix it. Um, yeah. So join our Discord if you feel like talking to us. There's other people on the Discord, not just us. Um,
person.
I mean, other people are on it. They don't all talk, but technically. Facebook, Twitter, it's all been scrolling around on the screen, so you'll just rewind if you don't see it.
Exactly. If you've ever had a question on how to get a hold of us, just rewind and watch the episode again because we need clicks. Um,
And but we'll be back next Friday probably to do this whole thing
Whether
again.
you want us to or
Yep.
not.
And yeah, that's it. I haven't figured out the outro yet. I got the intro, I think, pretty good, but I haven't got the outro. So we'll be back to talk at you again. I don't know.
Final faction!
I was going to ask if you wanted to do the outro, but I think that answered that.
I'll make up something every episode. It'll be great.
Yeah. All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Good night, everybody.